Okay, let's dive right in. We're all surrounded by artificial intelligence. It's pretty much everywhere. But how is it actually built? And maybe more importantly, how do we build it in a way that we can actually truly trust it? Well, today we're going to look at a pretty cool blueprint for doing just that.
And this is the real challenge, isn't it? AI isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. It's here, and it's making decisions that affect our health, our finances, our safety. So making sure these systems are reliable and safe, that's not just a technical problem, it's a huge societal need.
And that's our big idea for this whole explainer. Building trustworthy AI is a lot like putting up a massive skyscraper. Think about it. It's incredibly complex, it's going to impact thousands, maybe millions of people, and if you cut corners, well, the consequences could be absolutely catastrophic. It has to be designed for safety right from the ground up.
So for our AI skyscraper, the master blueprint, the master plan, is something called the AI Risk Management Framework Playbook. You can think of it as our guide to building tall, strong, and most importantly, safe.
Now, the most important thing to get about this playbook right off the bat is that it is not a rigid checklist. It's a guide, it's voluntary, it suggests actions that really push builders to think critically about their own specific project, just like a real architect would have to.
The entire construction process breaks down into these four big phases. First, you govern. That's laying the groundwork. Then you map out the whole site. After that, you measure all your materials. And finally, you manage the building long after it's up and running. So let's dig into each of these.
We have to start with governance. For our skyscraper project, this is all about setting the building codes and creating a culture where safety is job one. It's all the crucial prep work you do before a single wall ever goes up. These policies are kind of like the specific rules for our construction crew. Defining terms make sure everybody's speaking the same language. Testing procedures are like doing strength tests on your concrete. And whistleblower policies, those are so important. They basically empower any worker on site to pull the emergency brake if they see something that could compromise the whole building's integrity.
And this quote from the playbook really hits the nail on the head. See, governance isn't just about documents sitting in a folder somewhere. It's about a real cultural shift. It's about creating an environment where every single person, from the top brass to the newest developer, feels responsible for keeping that final structure safe.
Okay, our foundation's set. Now it's time to map. This is like the land surveyor's job, to look way beyond our own little plot of land and really study how this massive new skyscraper is going to affect the entire neighborhood.
And the potential impact is, well, huge. You have to map the effects on individuals, the privacy, the rights, but then you also have to zoom out. You've got to consider the impact on whole communities, on society's trust in its institutions, and even on the planet, especially given how much energy some of these AI systems can chew through.
Right, so the land's been surveyed, now it's time to measure. This is the engineering phase. Just like you would stress test a steel beam to see when it might break, we need to use clear metrics to evaluate every single risk we've identified.
And the basic formula for measuring risk is actually pretty straightforward. It's basically a function of impact multiplied by likelihood. What that means is, it's not just about how bad a failure could be, but also about how likely it is to even happen. A tiny guaranteed to happen crack could be a much bigger risk than some catastrophic collapse that has a 1 in a billion shot.
This phase also forces you to define your risk tolerance. Every project accepts some level of risk. A typo in an AI-generated memo, that's a negligible risk. It's like a scuff mark on the paint. But an AI that gets a medical diagnosis wrong, that is a critical risk. That's a crack in the foundation. You have to know the difference and decide what you're willing to live with.
So, our skyscraper is built, but the job is not done, not by a long shot. This brings us to the manage phase. Because just like any real building, an AI system needs constant inspection, constant maintenance to stay safe and useful for its entire life.
So when the building manager finds a risk, let's say a leaky pipe, they've basically got 4 options. They can mitigate it, fix the pipe. They can transfer the liability, maybe through an insurance policy. They could avoid it by just shutting down that whole floor, or they can accept it. Just put a bucket underneath and move on. The point is, you need a clear plan to respond.
So after all of that, the governing, mapping, measuring, and managing, what have we actually built? We've done more than just build a functional AI system. We've built a foundation for trust.
And if there's one thing you take away from this, please let it be this. Building for trust is not a one-and-done checklist. You can't just tick a box and say, okay, safety is finished. It's a continuous process, a culture of being vigilant that has to last for the entire life of the project.
And it absolutely requires a diverse construction crew. I mean, think about it. An architect, an engineer, a city planner, the folks who will live next door, they all see the project differently. To spot every potential risk in an AI system, you need that exact same diversity of backgrounds and expertise looking at the blueprints.
And that really brings us back to the ultimate goal. We don't build skyscrapers just to admire how tall they are. We build them to be safe, reliable places for people to live and work. The goal of this blueprint is the same: to build AI that serves its purpose without putting any of us in danger. So that leaves us with a final thought. This framework gives us a really powerful blueprint for building these complex AI systems. The question for all of us is, as new, even taller AI skyscrapers start popping up on the horizon, which ones most urgently need this level of care and attention? What's the next big thing we absolutely have to get right?